Hey guys, this is Josh here with Trillium Wild Edibles. I'm out here doing a little hike today, so I thought I'd vlog a little bit of what I find. So far I found some pretty cool things. We're just going to keep on walking. I'm out here with a couple family members. We're having a pretty good time. It's a little chilly out today though. It's probably around 40 degrees, maybe around 35 with the wind chill. But it's still going to be an awesome day. And speaking of cool stuff, check this out. Right here we have some rose hips that are still left on this old rose briar. This is a good find because if you're out and about and you need something to eat or something to drink, these make a really delicious drink. Hey guys, I want to show you this really awesome set of mushrooms right here. I don't know what these are, but they look really cool. If any of you guys have any idea what these are, let me know in the comments down below. I'm interested to hear your opinions. They're white and they've got what looks like snow. They look like they've got snow on them, but it's just the texture of this mushroom. So let's get a look at the underside and see if they have gills or pores. Right here we can tell that this mushroom has gills instead of pores, so we know it's not a polypore mushroom. This can help in identification. So if any of you guys know what this is, let me know in the comments. So we're out here walking around and we came across this really deep sinkhole. This is definitely something to avoid walking in the woods, man. This would really suck if you're out there late at night and you fell into that. You definitely break a leg or an arm. Definitely watch out for these guys. Let's see if we can see how deep it is without me falling in. Depth probably isn't showing up so well, but this thing looks like it's close to 10, maybe 12 feet deep. Really deep. And when you guys are out walking in the woods, especially in the wintertime, you're probably going to be seeing leaves like this. They're Lancia Late and they have parallel leaf margins or leaf veins. And the interesting thing about this is an edible plant known as putty root. The tuber or bulb of this plant is what's edible, and you would basically just cook it and boil it up kind of like a small potato. It doesn't taste like potato, but it is edible, and it's a really good survival food this time of year just because it's one of the only plants that's easily seen from a distance because of this bright contrasting green that contrasts with the dark brown of the forest soil and the leaf litter. This is a really cool find. This time of year is awesome to find different mushrooms. Here we have a species of turkey tail fungus growing along this dead log. The wintertime can be a good time for mushrooms just because the temperature fluctuations go from warm to cold to warm to cold, and there's a lot of moisture. Now, cool air and moisture allows mushrooms to thrive very well, especially certain species of polypores. So make sure you keep an eye out for mushrooms. Turkey tail is edible and it's medicinal, but it's not really so good to eat because it's really tough. It's not poisonous, but it doesn't taste that good. However, for medicine, it does make excellent medicine. Here along this trail that we're walking to kind of go back to where we came from, we found this really interesting pile of fur. I don't know if this is scat or puke. I can't really tell. There's no bones in it whenever I poked it with the stick. But just another one of the cool things that you find whenever you're out in the woods. Here we have some really rotten mushrooms. I'm assuming these are probably oyster mushrooms because they're growing on a dead tulip poplar log. And if they were oyster mushrooms, these things got massive. However, they're so far disintegrated, I can't personally tell what kind of mushrooms they are or were. But still a good find. It's still a good indicator that you're probably going to be running across other kinds of mushrooms or maybe even more oyster mushrooms if that's what these were. So make sure to keep an eye out for old disintegrating mushrooms because they can generally be an indicator that there are other mushrooms in the area that might still be good to eat. So right now we're in this really awesome power line clearing, and I found some pretty cool things that I wanted to show you that I did not expect to find this time of year. These are a really good indicator of another awesome plant. So let's take a look and talk about that. Now here on the ground, these yellow tomato berry looking things are actually from an Indian, not feather, the dot, an Indian nightshade. This is a yellow nightshade, and these things are extremely poisonous. You don't want to eat these. However, they are an indicator of another plant that is absolutely delicious and is the ancestor of our modern day tomatillo. You might find tomatillos in your supermarket, and these yellow nightshade berries are an indicator that ground cherries will be growing in the area. Now, because it is middle of February, there's not going to be any ground cherries because the ground cherries get consumed by the animals really quickly. I'm surprised to still see these berries here because I normally don't see them this time of year. They're usually fallen off and eaten by some of the animals. But this is a really cool find. So this lets me know that if I want to come back to this clearing, I'm probably going to be finding some ground cherries in the middle of summer. Here we can see several more, this nice little cluster hanging on here. I've seen quite a few of these, probably about 20 or 30 different plants. So that means this is probably going to be a good place to find ground cherries later in the summer. So you really want to keep an eye out for any plants that might be an indicator for another plant that you might be after. Here's another really cool species of mushroom growing on this cut tree. These things are really soft and flexible. They feel really cool to play with. It's always amazing how many mushrooms you find whenever you don't expect to find any mushrooms. However, it always seems to work out that whenever you're hunting mushrooms, you never find the ones you're looking for. Right here where we're walking, we've got this really awesomely huge hill. This thing is massive. By the time we got down to the bottom, which we're not doing, but if we did, it'd probably be about 200, maybe 250 feet in height. All along it, we can see all this green. All that green that looks like grass is actually just greenbriers. There's so many greenbriers there. So that lets me know this is probably going to be a good area to come look for greenbrier shoots because there's just so damn many of them. There's a whole lot of really cool mushrooms growing up on this sapling. And if we look back over there, we can see even more growing on this stump. Looks really cool. All the texture that these guys have, man. This is awesome. Whenever we come around on the other side of this stump, you can see all of these mushrooms growing all the way down. These white streaks on the outside along the margin of the mushroom. If I wouldn't have come around to this side of this stump, I probably wouldn't have even noticed it. You can see how well they blend in with the color contrast. They blend in very well. Extremely well camouflaged. Right now we're on the top of this really big ridge, and we can see the tree line way off in the distance. Get a pretty good view of the surrounding area if we just look around us. Granted, Indiana's pretty flat. There are a lot of places where you can get views like this, especially down in Brown County area. Right now we're in Monroe County, but still, it's awesome to see the tree line all the way across in the distance there. Really cool. Okay, we're on our way back to the car, and right here we found some of these possibly pear-shaped puffballs, the leftovers of them. You can see they're all opened up. This means that the mushroom is spored out. Most of them are out of their spores. Some of them are actually filled up with water. I'm going to try to poke some of these. Not getting any spores. I did see a little bit come out of this guy, but I think they're all blown out and all washed away from all the rain and the wind that we've had. But the cool thing about pear-shaped puffballs is they generally will grow on the same log year after year after year. So I know if I come back to this stump later on in the year, I'm going to be finding puffballs that are perfectly edible. However, whenever you go to eat a puffball, you want to cut them open and check out the inside to make sure that it's white and not yellowish or brown or green. If it's white on the inside, that indicates that the puffball is still good to use and it hasn't spored out. Check out this old oak gall that fell off a oak tree. You can see the inside of it. I don't know much about oak galls, but this is really cool. It looks kind of fuzzy on the inside. Kind of looks like a little bit of a skull actually from this angle. Looks like a cranium. Good thing it's not. That'd be terrifying. But I understand these actually have some medicinal uses. I'm not aware of what the medicinal uses are, but I understand they do have some medicinal uses. So you guys, if you're interested, definitely do some research on that and, see what you find. All right, now we're almost back to the car, and we found this really awesome yucca plant. These things have leaves all year round. The cool thing about yucca is the big tubers of the yucca plant can be used as a soap. So you can use these to make soap. The soap is extremely delicate, and whenever you combine it with the plant known as soapwort or bouncing bet, you get a really gentle, mild soap that works great for wool clothing or any type of clothing that you don't want to cause damage through harsh chemicals and harsh cleansers. Several Native American tribes used to also use the tuber of various yucca species as a fish poison. They would gather a bunch of these tubers up, gather a whole bunch of them, macerate them and mash them down to a powder, and then dam up a creek, then release these tubers and the powder inside that creek so the fish would float up to the surface. It was one of the ways that some tribes used to gather fish. So this could be an important resource, especially if you're lost in a survival situation. You could certainly use this to get yourself some fish. Okay, we're on our way back to the car now. We're just ending our little hike. I really hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, and if you guys want to see more videos like this or learn more about wild edibles or medicinal plants, please make sure to subscribe. I appreciate all of you guys, and I thank you for watching this video. And lastly, I want to thank all of you for 10,000 subscribers. That is a really awesome milestone for this channel, and I've got a lot of things planned for this year that I hope you guys are going to enjoy. So, I'll see you guys in the next video.